So here it is. Here's my problem. This one right here. Too much fertilizer. And it just ended up killing it, if I go down to the roots, which I just did in a picture, you can see like this one here is feeding this one. And there is one here, down here, but it's cut. Somehow it got broken. But, too much fertilizer. And I don't want it to affect this one in the back. This one right here, because this one is going good, It's pretty tall. It's about almost 2 feet tall. But I just started noticing in the last 1 or 2 days, it's starting to change. Starting to turn a little palish green, yellowish. And this one here has now become softer to the touch, especially down here. It's much, you could see probably in the video, you can squeeze it. It's still a little rigid up higher, and these ones are all sturdy, I'm gonna have to fix that one. This thing is gigantic, Started off as a little 8-inch tall plant, and now it's just grown to over 7 feet tall. It's just a monster of a beast. But
now, quick background on me, YouTube. I grew up in South Florida in Miami. That's where I bought this plant, or my brother-in-law gave it to me when we bought a house. And of course, it's tropical down there. The thing grew like crazy. So yes, I have had it for 7 years, and it's almost going on 8 feet tall. It's just a huge plant. But just like anything else, there ups and downs. So I didn't just get this thing
I'll
yesterday.
explain to you what happened here with these leaves, and that's just from the sun. I was putting it out in the sun.
Alright, YouTube, so the bottom line with this section is too much sun is going to kill your lucky bamboo plant. Period. Alright, guys, let's talk fertilizer for a few minutes and see if we can come to some kind of conclusion here. Alright, guys, so let me see if I can go over the fertilizer portion kind of quickly. The green plant food is recommended for lucky bamboo plants. I searched all over the internet to try to find a proper dosage, but it's going to really depend on how big your individual plant is. The smaller plants, you literally can probably just use a couple drops inside in your water. My plant is a lot larger, so the only thing I could find was putting 1 or 2 tubes of this liquid fertilizer into a gallon of water. Now each tube of the green plant food, this liquid plant food, comes in a 36 milliliter tube. So I ended up putting 2 tubes inside 1 gallon of water, shook it up, and I used spring water. You can use spring or distilled water. You absolutely should never ever use tap water, because tap water has chemicals like chlorine and fluoride, which is bad for it. It's another thing that's going to kill the lucky bamboo plant. So I put 2 of the tubes in the water, and over the course of a couple of days, I saw that the main stalk that you saw from the pictures was turning yellow. Unfortunately, with my work schedule, I couldn't do anything at the moment, so I had to backtrack, buy all new soil, clean the whole roots, and make sure everything was, trying to recover. And unfortunately, I did lose that one main stalk. So the advice would be, if you have a smaller, let's say under 2 foot tall lucky bamboo plant, just go with 1 or 2 drops. I'm not kidding, just 1 or 2 drops at the most. The larger the plant, put a couple more drops and dilute it with put it in a gallon of water, or maybe a small water bottle that you buy from the store. But it's better to under fertilize than over fertilize. So I hope that helps. Like I said, there's three main things that will hurt this plant. Sunlight. Do not put the lucky bamboos directly in sunlight. It does not need it, and it's just going to make the leaves turn brown and yellow, and they will not come back from that. Water. Do not use tap water. You have to use either distilled or spring water, and don't put it cold. Don't keep that water in the refrigerator, then bring it out every so often and water the plant because it doesn't like cold temperatures. It has to be like room temperature, over 50, 60 degrees Fahrenheit, and the cold weather. It's a tropical kind of plant. It has to be kept indoors, unless, like where I grew up in South Florida, I could keep it outdoors, but it was still in the shady section. So cold temperatures are going to really harm the plant. Bad water is going to harm the plant, and the sun is also a quick way to harm your plant. So I hope those things help you out. Now, all the brown leaves that you see on my lucky bamboo plant are from other things that again, my fault, because I used to put the plant outside in the sun, thinking that it needed to soak up the sun, and for all those years, that's just what happened. I would end up getting brown leaves, and I would trim them, and that's why you see on my plant a lot of them have been trimmed. But that's because I was putting it out in the sun, which I don't do anymore. Make sure you use good quality dirt. Don't just grab some dirt, from the or sand, And the biggest thing, like as I mentioned, depends on the size of your plant. If you have a smaller size plant, you don't need to give it a lot of fertilizer, just 1 or 2 drops, and it'll be good. Uh, Keep the if it's in soil, it's different. If it's just in water, just make sure the water stays 2 or 3 inches above the roots. But if it's in soil, it's harder to determine. Just keep the dirt a little moist. You don't want it saturated, dripping with water, but just a little moist. And it just needs the light. The other thing is it just needs the light from the outside shining through it, not really hitting the plant itself, but just the light in the room is going to be good enough. And all those things, you'll have a really good and healthy lucky bamboo plant for a lot of years. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me, put a message, and I'll answer them the best I can for you. All right, have a good day.